We have some breaking news this hour. Jack Smith, the special counsel, has new filing in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. In it, special counsel Smith asks the federal judge overseeing this case, that's Judge Aileen Cannon, to bar former President Trump from making statements that endanger law enforcement. This filing is in response to Trump this week complaining that standard boilerplate language contained in the FBI search warrant, which was used to search Mar-a-Lago in the summer of 2022. Trump is complaining that it was actually a secret attempt by Joe Biden to use the FBI to kill Donald Trump. This is an excerpt from that filing tonight on the part of Smith. Quote, Trump's repeated mischaracterization of these facts in widely distributed messages as an attempt to kill him, his family, and Secret Service agents has endangered law enforcement officers. Trump's conditions of release should therefore be modified to prohibit similar communications going forward.
More now on the breaking news that we are getting in just this hour tonight in the Trump classified documents case, as Jack Smith, the special counsel, and prosecutors are asking Judge Aileen Cannon in Florida to place a gag order on former President Donald Trump in the wake of his, quote, false and inflammatory statements suggesting that law enforcement agents were authorized to assassinate him when they executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. They had a standard deadly use of force policy. They had the exact same one when they conducted that search for documents at President Biden's home. I should note that is something that Attorney General Merrick Garland reminded everyone of this week when he was asked about this. Jack Smith in this filing tonight is arguing that Trump's comments has endangered law enforcement officers involved in this investigation and the prosecution of this case, and that it threatens the integrity of the proceedings as well.
It is pretty astounding. The only thing that surprises me about the whole Jack Smith, Judge Cannon, the new order, it's taken so long because what is going on here? You can make jokes that she's a Trump sycophant, etc., etc., but there's a really serious side to everything. If it carries on down the lane it would have gone on, suddenly the judges basically might as well be wearing a red hat. I think this goes through to the whole judiciary system in terms of Judge Cannon at the moment appears to be, well, working for her own, what word should we use? It's like she has a direct line to the former losing guy. What is your thoughts on what has happened? And talking to judges, so those two people on the Supreme Court, should we be taking a closer look at Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito as well? Comment section now. Thank you.
Yesterday was no surprise. I can't underscore how little of surprise it was. It was more surprising that Stormy Daniels got on the stand and said that she had sex with Donald Trump than it was that Aileen Cannon postponed her trial date. She has a number of motions that have even yet to be scheduled that are required under the Classified Information Procedures Act. She has a number of pending motions that have been fully briefed for months now on which she has made no decision. I wouldn't venture a guess at when this case would be ready for trial, and I believe that's by design. I continue to be disappointed by Aileen Cannon and her execution of the role of federal jurist here. But I also think, based on some reporting from David Latt, that this is a judge who is overwhelmed and is second-guessing herself at every corner. She seems to be overwhelmed with anxiety about the import of the case. And so a combination of insecurity in your own decisions, the gravity of the case before you, and maybe also some inclination to slow walk where you don't have trust in yourself, that's a toxic brew. And we're all drinking it right now.
On the documents case, what is your view of how Judge Aileen Cannon has handled the proceedings?
I have always hesitated in criticizing judges as corrupt or biased because of their rulings. But in this case, I think her behavior has been so extreme and has manifested itself as a bias against the prosecution so many times and in such extreme ways that I cannot help but think that she is essentially corrupt. And I never say that about a judge, even judges I don't like. And she has this unique combination of incompetence and corruption, I think, that is very, very disturbing. I think we're actually fortunate that she's not more competent than she is.
One explanation, generous explanation that other people have given is that perhaps she just is not familiar enough with I don't know.
At first I thought...
You think it's corruption?
I don't think it's corruption in the
sense.
sense that I don't think she's being paid or anything like that. But I think it's a kind of political or moral corruption in the sense that she has decided that she is going to put her finger on the scale in favor of this man who appointed her to the bench, and someday, if he's reelected, could appoint her to another position. I just think that that's it. I can't find any other rational explanation for her behavior. I do think she is not competent, and I think we actually should be grateful that she is not that competent, because I think right now the record is such that it would not take much for Jack Smith to decide to make some kind.
Yeah, this is a remarkable misunderstanding of the applicable law. It's embarrassing. She's been struggling so dramatically in this case ever since the start, when she was she butchered the special master decision, and the 11th Circuit took her to task for it. This is a totally baffling position. First, she appears to believe that the Presidential Records Act is actually consequential in the case, which it is not. This is an Espionage Act case. This is not a Presidential Records Violation Act case. This is the theory that Trump has the ability to designate classified material as personal records is absurd on its face. There is no legal support for that, but she has put Jack Smith in a position of trying to draft jury instructions in advance that would posit that question to the jury. I think that it is such a fundamental error, and it is so so reflective of bias that it does provide a basis, not a dispositive basis, but it does provide a basis for seeking her recusal. I know that former Massachusetts District Court Judge Nancy Gertner, who's very highly regarded by her colleagues and lawyers, had the same reaction that I had, and I saw some reporting today where she was suggesting that they seek to recuse her on this basis as well, pointing out that she's just ignoring a raft of equally absurd motions as well, persistently delaying this case.
So,
a month ago, she ordered the identities of witnesses to be disclosed, and Jack Smith pointed out to her that was just not allowable. She has decided to dismiss the vagueness challenge to the statute, but to the Espionage Act statute, but has suggested that it might be something that would be addressed in jury instructions at a time where jeopardy would already have been attached and the government would have no remedy. It's really remarkable, some of the things that she's done that are just fundamentally unhinged.
So, you're using your words, I know precisely, right? Unhinged, and it gets to the point where I use the word inexplicable. Because it would seem that in any normal situation, you would be able to have a trial date set at this point, or you would have a judge able to do that. She has not done that. I know prosecutors have said they want to start on July 8th. Trump wants the entire case tossed out. What do you think is going to happen here? What is she doing? Is she going to announce a trial date that's real at any point?
I don't think, not that's real. She will announce a trial date at some point. Any other judge in the country would have long ago announced the trial date and then simply moved it. I don't think she has any intention of letting this case come to trial before the election or before the inauguration, which may not matter if Trump loses, because the case would ultimately get to trial. But if he wins, it's highly consequential because they'll have the ability to dismiss it. And to her credit, this is not the only case that she has made fundamental errors in. She recently butchered the public right to trial by excluding a defendant's family from jury selection. Now that case pled, so it won't be dealt with on appeal. But she just is the wrong judge. I wish the chief judge of the district court there would step in, or the 11th Circuit would step in sua sponte, as we say, on their own.
Yeah, because who would decide if Smith makes a motion to have her removed? Who decides?
So that would be decided by the 11th Circuit.
All right. I have to say, to her credit, as the preface for what you said thereafter was a new use of
Yes,
credit.
to her credit, she could. To her credit, she could merely be incompetent.
All right, Ty Cobb, thank you.
The problem becomes what to do about it. And the only answer I can come back to, and I've thought about this a lot at the human level, is shame, norms. Because in the end, remember, that's what saved us the last time around. I mean, yes, the law helped, right? But again, if the DOJ had bent to Trump's will, if there had been 3 or 4 lawyers atop that Department of Justice who were willing to send a letter basically claiming there was widespread voter fraud, or if Mike Pence had agreed to throw out the electors from swing states Biden won, if his lawyers had advised him he could do that, I don't know. No one knows what would have happened in the end. All we've got are individual people formed by the norms and institutions they're embedded in, making decisions, hopefully coming to the right conclusions and acting in good faith, or at the very least, bowing to some sense of public pressure or shame not to do the wrong thing. So in this case, the least we can do now is state plainly and openly that what Trump-appointed Judge Aileen Cannon is doing is a scandal. When our judges don't act in good faith, when they work only to weaponize the judiciary in an effort to achieve a desired outcome, we are in very dangerous territory. That's especially true with Donald Trump effectively running to finish the job he started on January 6th, a job that can only be completed if the judiciary allows itself to be corrupted. And right now, the signs are not promising.